Hello, class. Well, we're here. It's the last week of class. Well, we're not quite at the end yet, but the class ends on the 31st, and the Thursdays is usually when I send out these videos. But I thought, I should probably send it out earlier. So here we are, and here is the video. I wanted to talk about a recent thing about that happened. Well, kind of, sort of, in California. This image here is of Mono Lake, and there's a bacterium that was found there, and the authors that found this, it seemed to signify that, well, arsenic tends to not be something we associate with life, but there was a bacterium that seemed to thrive in arsenic-heavy environments, and the authors thought that, and through their studies, that actually arsenic was in the DNA rather than phosphorus. So DNA, it has a sugar, which is deoxyribose, so for DNA, a nitrogen base, so that's, for DNA, it's adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Those are the different bases, and then a phosphate group. And what the authors, what their research suggested, instead of phosphorus in the phosphate group, that's between. So you have the sugar attached to nitrogen base, and then there's a phosphate group, and then the sugar. So that's how the DNA molecule is built. And instead of a phosphate, there was instead of phosphorus in the phosphate, there was arsenic in that instead of phosphate. And they said, okay, so this is why it's able to survive, and arsenic is also in the phosphorus family on the periodic table. It's like, oh, it's a periodic trend. So this is just a new form of life, and so now, but the problem is that none of their data could be reproduced. And the original publication, it was they couldn't. The Science and the two top journals for science, it's Science and Nature. Nature may be a little more impactful, so we say for impact factors. So Science and Nature are like the strongest journals, and Science doesn't force retractions unless there was some sort of malfeasance, and there was none of that in this. This was just straight research, and now the first author even went and said, the first author, that's usually the person that does most of the research. When you look at the author order, so whoever is the first author is usually very important. Also, whoever the last author is usually very important. The last author is usually the boss. So, like the head of the lab or research group or something like that. And the first author is usually the one that made the discovery or did most of the work or did most of the paper kind of stuff. So that's the first author. So the first author has quite a bit of sway in this. The first author thought it should be retracted. But it goes through this, and in the end, they did decide to do their retraction. But there is a little bit of controversy on this because there wasn't, because some people thought, like, hey, maybe this is true still. So although I know the final is this week, and I'm kind of leaving you with this. I wanted to say, like, oh, this kind of proves science is tentative, but in this case, it's still not even clear. It's like, well, we found this something, we're unable to reproduce it, and truth of the matter is, we still don't know. And I mean, I know it's not a very powerful message to have you end the course saying, like, hey, we don't know. And although that kind of, that's the part of the thing that's exciting to me. That's part of me. That's the thing that's exciting about science. Like, oh, we thought about this. Oh, but we were wrong. Oh, but like maybe we were right. I mean, there are some things that happen this way. I mean, and I actually remember when this paper was published. I guess I'm showing how old I am. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, oh, arsenic is just like phosphorus. It makes sense. Periodic table, but like that's some weird life that'd be able to survive in an arsenic-rich environment. So I remember that when I heard about this back, 15 years ago. I mean, but there's other things. I mean, I remember Brontosaurus, for instance, was not a dinosaur, and then it was a dinosaur, and so, I mean, various things. I mean, so who knows? Maybe they'll make Pluto a planet again. We'll see. I don't think they'll make Pluto a planet again, but I mean that's more of a definition than anything else. But it's really interesting to hear. But I hope this increases your sense of wonder. Because I mean we don't. There's some things we know, some things we don't know, and we also make mistakes as scientists, and but and also the power of science. Science is very powerful, and I mean science. We owe a lot to science, and we have a lot of our life and like important things in our lives are. Science. Of course, I'm a very science-centric person. Obviously, my being a scientist myself. But yeah, think about it and let me know if you have any thoughts on this. Also, this being finals week, and like if I have any authority in your life, I mean, I know I'm just guy in a camera right now, but. I mean, if I have any authority in your life, I would like to give you permission right now to be selfish. So this is Lex weekly class, and this is also very stressful. This is always a very stressful time, and what I mean by that is this is not the time to do extra shifts at work. This is not the time to agree to help your cousin move. It's not the time to take up extra like caretaking duties. I mean, since this is a stressful time, you need to focus on yourself, focus on your well-being, and including your mental well-being. And I mean, although it depends on your diets, if you want to take a break in your diet this week, that's okay too. I mean, of course, like me myself, I mean, I'm gluten intolerant, and if I, all right, I'm going to take my, my gluten-free diet, then I would be sick, and that's obviously a stupid thing to do. But I mean, if you're like, all right, no fast food, something like that, and you know what, this week it's okay to have a little fast food, or if you want to treat yourself with a donut, especially because I can't eat donuts because, well, I can, but I'll be suffering if I eat donuts, So have a nice donut for me and some pizza, for me. Yeah, so that's what I miss. I used to have gluten, of course, until I found out I was gluten intolerant, and I do miss bread. That's some good stuff. So have some nice sweet bready treats for me, kind of thing. So I mean, whatever it is to help with your sanity, help you keep sane, and try and get as much sleep, try and get as much rest as you can. So and look after yourself with the well-being, if that makes sense. So I mean, of course, if you have caretaker duties, there's circumstances where you just have to do things, and that's understandable too. But I mean, the gray area, is it's okay to look after yourself, especially now. So keep that in mind, and always, if you need anything, let me know. If you're falling behind in the class, be sure to drop me an email. It's really important that you finish the simulations because the license runs out on the 31st. I don't know if it's been renewed. It probably has. But I don't know if the license has been renewed. That's when the license also expired. At least that was true in the beginning of the course. I don't know if it's true still, but I would be sure to do that. And I need to get the grades in after the course is due. So it'd be easiest if you did the simulations, and if we had to worry about the stuff with Pearson, do that later. And if you're really, really behind, something I always do, if students score higher on the final than on the other parts of the class, like say that your final grade is higher than your homework grade, or your final grade is higher than your test grade, I just replace those grades for the final. I actually look for reasons to bump up your grades. So I have to prove that you understand the material, but I also look for reasons to bump you up, if that makes sense. So if you have like if you have a real time crunch, and I would say at least for the lecture part of this class, I mean the tests and the homework, just take the final and don't worry about that other stuff. Although generally speaking, I mean students perform the same the way they do on the final as they do on the test. But talk to me if you need some more clarification on that. I mean, I hope that you do finish everything because I mean, it's really, it's all practice. It all helps you out in the end. So, but let me know if you need anything, like I said, and I hope you enjoy the class so far. It's not the end of the class, just the last week. And I know it's a fast class. It's a pretty stressful last week. These summer classes always seem to fly by. And kind of and general chemistry in general is kind of it's a new day, new topic, right? The number of mental models that you have to master in these classes it's tough. These are not easy classes. So let me know what I can do to help, and please take care of yourselves. So okay, have a nice week and take care. Goodbye.